Hey guys, how are you doing? So I wanted to hop in here really quick, or out here because I'm on my pages, right? So I wanted to hop in here really quick to talk about something that I heard about a couple of weeks ago, and I was kind of like, oh, that sounds good. And I thought it was going to be a lot more limited than it is. And so I figured, we'd wait and talk about it when more people had access to it. But now I'm hearing that it's a lot more people are having access or going to have access to this, and that pretty much we need to talk about this. So if you didn't read the title, what I'm talking about, if you don't know me, because I don't go live but so often on these pages, I am Thompkins-Robsinson. I am the owner, founder here of Girl Get Visible, and the founder of my SEO writer software, which we'll be talking about in a minute too. And my whole goal is to help you get out there, get found, and get visible in your business. I help female entrepreneurs who are tired of the rat race of social, tired of, trying to do all the things, and they've got all this brilliance, all this expertise, all of these things, and they want to get them out there, get them found, get visible, and get profitable, right? Get paid in our businesses. And so those are the things I talk about. I talk about SEO, content marketing, podcasting, getting your brand out there. And that is everything that I'm about to talk to you about. Literally all in like one little clip. I'm about to tell you all the things that you need to know, because this is important, right? So I am on my Facebook, I'm on my YouTube, I am on my Instagram, I'm everywhere, because that's how important and how big that this change is. And it's really going to help us whether you have a podcast or not. So if you're thinking, but I saw in the title something about podcasting and I don't have one, it's not going to help me, then you're already, stay here, right? I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I'm going to tell you stay here, right? Because even if you don't have a podcast, this is going to be really, really big and really, really dope for a lot of us, right? So here's the big news. The big news is that Facebook is going to start allowing people to add their podcasts to Facebook. Not the way you've probably been doing it. You've probably been like using a headliner and you post your links and telling people when you have a new episode. Nah, it's about to get better than that, right? It's about to be that you can put your RSS feed to that link that comes from your host onto your podcast, your Facebook page, and people will be able to listen to your podcast in the app. So you know how Facebook doesn't like links? That part is going to be going away for us, right? So that's not going to hurt us anymore, because Facebook doesn't really like links. And you know how people are waiting, like try and always run back to Facebook? That part is not going to bother us anymore, because they're going to already be on Facebook. You even know how much time people spend watching lives, like I'm live right now, hey guys, right? You even know how much time people spend watching lives and other things on Facebook, and maybe they might not listen to or go someplace to listen to your podcast as much. That part is about to go away, right? So already, if you've got a podcast, it's already going to be dope season for you, because a lot of all the things that hold people back from getting some of our views and our downloads and stuff like that is now going to be going away. Also, for those of my hardcore podcasters, and I got a bunch of folks, my hardcore podcasters, who really pay attention to our downloads and stuff, that part is going to get better too, because now, even if you were doing all those things to also put your podcast on Facebook now, and you would not be able to get the downloads, so you didn't know, your numbers, and when you needed to prove how many people were going to your show and get advertising dollars, like it was hurting us in so many ways. That part is about to get better for you too, because now, since it's coming from your host, so that RSS feed, like I said, so since it's coming from your host will be able to grab the download numbers from Facebook too. All of that is so dope, right? So it actually starts rolling out June 22nd. Right now, and this is why at the beginning I was saying, I didn't think it was going to be as big, but I'm hearing it's much bigger. But right now, it is invite only. So if you have a podcast, and no one seems to know how they know who's attached to what podcast. I've heard some podcasters with multiple podcasts got an invitation for one, but not an invitation for the other, that kind of thing. But right now, they're sending out emails to podcasters. So if you have one, check your inbox, right? They're sending out emails to podcasters, and podcasters are getting the ability to opt in to that. And Verge.com has a big post article about it. So I'm not going to go into all that technical stuff. They have a big post article about this because, they've been testing it out and they got a letter, right? So that is one. If you have a show, you should be getting a letter. If you have not gotten a letter yet, I foresee that they're going to be rolling this out pretty quickly because already they started with a small group. Then they sent out another batch. So I think people are going to have this a lot sooner than they expect to see it. So don't worry. It's coming. If you got a show, it's coming, right? Now, if you don't, tell me here, give me a thumbs up or a hearty heart or whatever, if you don't have a podcast, right? And if you don't have a podcast, don't leave. This is important for you too, right? But give me a thumbs up or hearty heart or one of those things. Let me know if you hear if you don't have a podcast, because this is the part, and you guys know I'm all about getting visible. I'm all about getting your message out there. I am really excited about this because it's one thing that we get more downloads and we get our numbers up and blah, blah, blah on our own platforms. But this part right here is going to really help all of us. And so I want you guys to really start getting ready and start getting geared up for this. So one, now that more people are going to be seeing these shows and getting out there, if you are a guest on a show, we talk a lot about being a guest on podcasting and stuff like that, right? But if you are a guest on a show, you are going to now get in front of so many more audiences, because now that person, hopefully once they get it up and stuff running and stuff, they're going to have their show on Facebook, right? So that's already number one. It's going to help you by being a guest on shows. And of course, the more shows that you're a guest on, the more Facebook pages you are actually now going to be on. How dope is that, right? I already think that's dope. I think that's amazing, right? Second thing, as with everything, especially everything that Facebook tells us to do, what do? We go out there and do it, right? People do lives every day. People doing reels every day. People doing all these things because Facebook told us to. So now, here's another good thing. Facebook is telling people to start podcasts. Right? And so what that means, and not everyone's going to want to or need to start a podcast, but Facebook is driving people now to start podcasts, which is dope for the podcast industry and dope for us as people who want to be guests on podcasts, because now more people are going to be looking for those guests. So you guys see where this is going, right? Now more people are going to be looking for guests, searching things out. Most shows that do if they do once a week for the year kind of thing, even if they do seasons, most shows are looking for at least 40 to 52 guests per year, right? 40 if they do seasons, or just don't do it every single week. 52 if they're doing every single week of the year, right? So 40 to 52 guests per year. How many opportunities is that for us to be that guest, right? And so now we've got the chance to be a guest on a show, which is going to help with SEO because we're going to get the backlinks, right? So we already know that part. If you don't know this part, come over to my group. Did I put on my YouTube page yet? Go to my YouTube page. It's going to be there. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page. I'm going to put up my video where I talk about the advantages of being a guest on podcasts, right? So that's one. It's going to help us with that. It's going to help us with now being on more shows that are out there for us to be a part of. Then we're going to get the backlinks because the shows have websites. It's going to get the backlinks. It's going to help the SEO benefit. All of that is good and gravy. That's what podcasts do for us, right? Secondly, now it's going to get you in front of more of their Facebook audiences too. And we know this too. So the second thing that we know that Facebook does, when it's new, they push it, right? So the first, I'm going to say for the rest of this year, it's probably going to be pushed pretty heavy because it's new. Facebook is really trying to get into the audio space, competing with podcast networks, competing with Clubhouse, competing with all these things. And we as visible girls and guys who want to get out there, who want more people to find our brands, want more people talking about us, want to use our expertise and our experience to sell our products and our services and our things, we can ride this wave. And it's going to be a pretty dope one, right? Mark my words. You guys are going to come back in 3 months and say, Killa, that we were so right. People do it all the time. You were so right. It's so many people talking about podcasting. I need to get on podcasts and all the other good things, because that next 6 months, this is rolling out. Like I said, next week, people I know have already gotten the invitations. They've already clicked the link. They've already started signing up. And so what we need to do, here's what we need to do, right? Yes, if it's not saved here, Terry, because I tell you, I mess up my Instagram all the time, right? If it's not saved here, I'm also on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. And if anyone's looking anywhere for this, I'm Girl Get Visible everywhere. So go to Facebook, YouTube. I am putting this everywhere because that's really how important this is. So you can share it either from here on Instagram. It should be saved, but I know how Instagram don't like me sometimes. But if not, it is definitely going to be in the other two places because that's why my eyes keep darting too, because I'm looking at both cameras and reading your comments and stuff. But so to my whole point that this is going to be like so dope for all of us, and that we are going to really need, what we are going to need to do is get out there and get in front of these podcasters, right? And I'm going to say the small podcasters, big podcasters. I just had, we had co-working last night in my work club program. And one of the things we were talking about was being on different shows, right? And things like that. And my philosophy is, even if it's a small show, it's not going to stay small, right? If they just get started, say they're on episode 5, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to do them because it's only episode 5 and they don't have a big audience. The beauty of podcasts is that they don't go away. So even if you're episode 5, when that episode 50 comes out and now that person's got a lot more traction, people are still going to be listening to episode 5. People still listen to my episodes years and years later. When I hit 100K last year, around this time of year, I hit 100K. When I hit 100K downloads, the people who were my 5th episode, my 10th episode, my 20th episode, they all got a piece of the pie too, a piece of the action. So don't ignore shows because of the size. And you guys know me, I got some things for you, right? So I want to do a whole workshop on this, and I've got my accelerator weekend coming up, traffic accelerator weekend coming up at the middle of July. So July 10th and 11th is the traffic accelerator weekend. We need to talk a lot. We talk about you need to get backlinks, but we need to go real deep into this pitching. Some of you guys know I also have my software, which has a pitch deck for you, a pitch email template for you. We're adding a directory. So these shows that you're trying to be out there finding, we're adding a directory for that. And I'm going to be doing a special workshop for that because I need y'all out there, right? I need all of us to get out there, get found and get visible, but definitely get on this podcast wave because I foresee the next 6 months, and I'll come back at the end of the year. I'm probably talking about it more than that, but definitely come back at the end of the year and talk about where we should look at for 2022. Because if this is what Facebook is going to do and the direction they're going to go in, it's going to be so game changer for us, y'all. And especially for us who don't want to do the reels and the dancing around with the music. You guys, some of you guys know how I feel about that, right? If you're not that, if you're like, I got all these things to say, I got all this expertise to share, I got all these people who need to hear the things that I'm talking about, I'm really ready to like dive into this and all that other kind of stuff, you are going to need to do this. You are going to need, podcasting helps you in so many ways anyway, right? Just being a guest on shows, even if you don't have a show. And that's why I really should have named this, like, if you don't have a show, listen first, right? Even if you don't have a show, this is such a big opportunity for you. So if you were thinking, I don't have time for a show, I don't want to do all the editing, I don't want to do another thing, because people keep telling me that all the time, then the thing that you need to do is start getting yourself onto these shows. And so we are going to do, and actually, I just named the workshop. I gave it a cutesy name. I try, right, guys? Hold on, I'm going to give you guys a cutesy name for our new workshop. So I just added this bonus. If you go on over to girlgetvisible.com, what is it? Traffic in July. That is going to lead you to the page for the Accelerator Weekend, which is happening July 10th and 11th. And I just added a bonus to the Build Your Visible Pitch Fest workshop, because what I want us to do is very easily and quickly be pitching ourselves. I want us to be pitching ourselves in the next month. I just told my team yesterday, I had a bunch of meetings yesterday. I just told my team yesterday that we need to be pitching at least 20 podcasts per month. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I told you guys I got tools for you, right? So we've got, thank you, Terry. we've got everything happening in the My SEO Writer. So now that we've got that pitch template email, we got the content flow just for sending out the emails. We got the directory coming that's going to give you a list of podcasts, and we're going to be tapping into these podcasts that are on Facebook. We're actually going to be adding a flag to say on Facebook, so that way you know you're going to get the double whammy, right? We want the double whammies first, right? And so we're adding in all of these different things that are going to help you. So while 20 might seem like, oh my God, that's a lot. Nah, we are going to do this pitch fest, and we are going to make this like easy, quick, simple, all the things, because this is, like I said, this is the wave that you guys need to get on. Being on podcasts, even before this, has been so helpful to my business. If you guys Google me, like straight up, Google me, Google Akil Thompkins-Robinson, you will see all of the shows that I have been on, and you will see from shows I was on this year to shows I was on years ago, all the traction. Some of you guys probably follow me because you saw me on a show. This isn't just because it's me. This is just because I pitch straight up and down, right? And so you guys can do the exact same thing. Hey, JR, how you doing? Right? You guys, yes, an alternative to definitely an alternative to Reels. We need that, right? Right. So this is good. This is good for us. This is big for us. This is going to help with your SEO. You know, I talk a lot about getting found outside of social, getting out of having to do the posting every day, having to do the being online every day, being able to go on vacations, being able to hang out with the family. Last 2 weeks for me, I mean, my folks know, have been crazy. The kids finally out of virtual school, and I still don't know what to do with them all day now. Now I got to figure out what to do with him all day, but he's finally out of virtual school, all the things. And I promise you, if I had to get on and post every day, go live every day, talk every day, I would be out of business right now because I wouldn't have the time. I probably wouldn't have the energy. Plus, like, actually working with my members and my clients and servicing them, like, that's a lot. And for those of us who signed up in this to get it easier than being at our jobs and not have to work and all that other type of stuff, that's not what we want, right? So doing things like this pitching that we're talking about, getting on these podcasts, because it's literally 1 hour. Can you talk? You know how people say those memes? What can you talk about for half an hour? You know? What can you talk about for half an hour without any preparation or without any prompting? Those memes are telling you to get on podcasts. They just don't know the other half of the sentence. You know, everybody picks up and does things because they see it, but they don't know the other half of the sentence, right? But what can you talk about for half an hour, 45 minutes? What can someone ask you a question about and you can rattle off the answers just off the top of your dome? That whatever you're thinking that thing is, that is what you can be podcasting about. That's what we're going to be talking about during the traffic weekend and leading into our Pitch Fest workshop, right? That's why I added the Pitch Fest workshop, because there's so many dope things that I know every single business owner can talk about. Like, I know JR can talk about marketing for in the church, and I know, and music and a bunch of other great things. My computer was doing something. I had to move my phone. Sorry, guys. I know Terry can talk about deodorant and natural self-care and caring for your body and stuff like that. Those are things that people want to know about. Those are things that people want to talk about. And they love to bring in an expert who's going to share that. And that's what we do when we get on these podcasts. So this change that Facebook is making, this is like Christmas in July, y'all. This is Christmas in July. Well, June, but you guys know what I mean. It's our Juneteenth Christmas gift right now, right? But this is going to be really that good and that big for us, because now the work that we're doing offline from off of social is now going to be able to be integrated a little bit into social. And it's just, like I said, it's going to be those double whammies for us. So head on over. If you want to get into the Pitch Fest, head on over to girlgetvisible.com. Yes, Christmas in June. Girlgetvisible.com. Traffic in July, right? So traffic in July. Head on over there. Sign up to join us on the 10th and the 11th. You'll see that new bonus that's been added. I added in the workshop and 1 month in the software that I'm talking about that is going to help you write the pitches. So you're going to learn what to do, learn who to send them to, learn all the good things, and then you are going to have a tool that's going to help you do it. So you won't have to take forever and it won't take you a lot of time. You can do this in a couple of hours, y'all. it's going to be dope, right? And so like a couple of hours a month, we do the pitching, we get ourselves out there, we get in front of our audience, we get in front of their audience, we get the SEO benefit, and we get the Facebook benefits. It's real no-brainer. So that was it. I didn't want to stay on a whole long time. I still got to run out. I still haven't been to Starbucks this morning yet, right? But as I've been seeing this and reading about this and talking about this, this is something that we all need to be thinking about, need to be getting into. And I don't want you guys to miss the wave, right? So like I said, in a few months, you're going to be like, Akila said, Akila told me, right? People say it all the time. Killa said it, Killa told me. I want you guys to be part of that. So I will see you guys in the traffic weekend. If you have any questions, if you're on my pages, drop a question. If you're on IG, come over to Facebook or message me, DM me, drop some questions, whatever you have. I am, as you can see, happy and excited to talk about this because I don't want us to miss this wave. All right. Bye, guys. I got to figure out how to turn off my